Hello friends, I am Monica Kashyap. I welcome you all on my Biologics channel. Let's start with the second chapter of Biology of plus 2 class. Name of the chapter is Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. Friends, as you already familiar with the flowers because you have already read the various parts of the flower in your previous classes. So in this video, I will discuss all the typical parts of a flower one by one and function of the flower parts and their structure in detail. You are seeing here a diagrammatic representation of longitudinal section of a flower. Friends, can you define flower? I think 70% of the students cannot define flower properly. Can you? I think you know very well about the flower, but you are not able to define flower properly. So I am telling you proper definition of the flower. Flower is the highly modified shoot that is meant essentially for the sexual reproduction of the flowers. Or according to the biologist, flowers are the morphological and embryological marvels and the sites of sexual reproduction. I think you can easily define flowers now. Next is part of a typical flower. Flower bear four types of flower leaves arranged in successive rows. The sepals, petals, pistil, and stamens. In a group or collectively, these whorls are known as calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. So let's start discussing all the parts one by one. First part is pedicel. It is the long cylindrical stalk of the flower and it is the point that is attached with the main axis of the branch. It exposes the flower in favorable position for the pollination and the flower is known as pedicellate. Above the pedicel, there is upper swollen portion is present. That swollen portion is known as thalamus or receptacles. It is the condensed axis of the flower and it holds all the flower organs like petals, sepals, androecium, and gynoecium. The most important outermost whorl of the flower is calyx. It protects the flower in bud condition. These are usually green leaf-like structure. What are the function of sepals? Sepals, these provide support to the thalamus. They perform function of photosynthesis. It also attracts insects when become colored or produce nectars. Next, innermost hole to the calyx is corolla. These are usually bright colored due to the presence of pigment found in the chromatoplasts of the cell. What are the function of the corolla? Corolla attracts insects for pollination. It regulates the entry of a particular type of insects by forming various shapes. And it protects the essential organs like carpel and stamens of a flower in young condition. Next, third hole is androecium. This one is androecium. It consists of two parts. One is anther and another is filament. It is the long tube-like structure and above the filament a knob-like structure is present that is anther. Anther is biathecous. I mean it has two lobes and each lobe has two pollen sacs. Sacs contains rounded structures that are known as pollen grains. Next part is gynoecium. Gynoecium is female reproductive hall and fourth hall of the flower. It consists of three main parts that is stigma, style and ovary. Stigma is pollen receptive part. It receives the pollen grains that are released from the anthers. And second part is style. It is the median style part, means it connects the stigma and the ovary. Next, below part is ovary. It is swollen part and it bears ovules. So it is ovule bearing part. And collectively, three of them is known as female reproductive part.